No.
Come on. All right, fine.
Alrighty. Good to go.
We can't celebrate the return of Shrimp Jesus.
I find the whole thing funny, but I understand why not everyone might.
It was funny
I'll
one
stop. I'll
time.
We had so much fun with Shrimp Mist, though.
Yeah.
Rhapsody's like, yeah, yeah, sure, we did. Yeah,
Yeah. You can have your fun. One time.
One time, I'm allowed to have fun. It's the one time. I do love the mantis prompts, though. Anything with mantis shrimp tends to be a horror show of massive delight for me. So, all right. Let's see here. We still got some people rolling in here. Um,
Well, I haven't pressed the buttons yet. Should
oh
I?
my, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hit the
All right.
damn
I was
buttons.
waiting for,
No, no,
waiting for the buttons.
I said go. It's all good. It's all good. What is it? Yeah. I am excited to have all you guys here today. We're just gonna give a minute or two for people to start rolling in here. And as for the early birds, I'm gonna give you guys a little shout out here. We got Bert, we got Alara, got Tanner, got Zero, got JDS, Felix, Noob Lady, MLH, Joe Burzum, Celeste, CCCCC, Humanity. Let's see, Enid. It's good to see you again, Enid, and Golem Pasta. Those are the guys I recognize. And Josh C. Um, Thank you guys so much for coming, and then for everyone else that if you're new here, thank you so much for joining the character stream here on Midjourney. Um, oh, hey Lex, it's good to see. Yay! We got a good crowd here. I am Victor Gnarly. I'm joined here with Rhapsody, and we're gonna make some fun stuff with you guys today. Um, Thank you so much for joining on the stream today, Rhapsody. I really appreciate that.
Always.
We're also joined here by Kinky and Agent, and we're basically going to be diving into some new tools today that were just released. So, the multi layering and object selection tools we'll be getting into, as well as just kind of get into our roots again when it comes to because we're working with the editor, so it's going to be a little more of version 6.1 as opposed to 7. So if you're eager to get back to some existing workflows and stuff that we've already developed, that good luck. That's what this today's stream is going to be. It's going to be a lot of digging into 6.1 because that's the editor mostly works in that. So let's let's get right into it. Um, let's see here. So, just to kind of give a quick intro for anyone that is new, we have two different windows that you need to look at here. Right above the stage, I'm going to zoom on in here. Right above the stage, you will see that we have VC Create and VC Text. The VC Create is where we're able to prompt things together and we can collaborate together using Midjourney. So anything that you guys make here will show up on the stream. So I heavily encourage you guys to share whatever you're working on, whatever you're messing with, and you can even bring it in from other servers by using /show and grabbing the job ID for your image. And there's a couple ways you can do that. But we also have a place for you guys to chat, which is VC text. And VC text is where you'll see all sorts of links and dialogue and people just hanging out and things like that. Everything here ends up on YouTube, so it's a lot of fun to just kind of chat and hang out with you guys on the stream. Um, in terms of the exact content that we plan for today, it's not really anything too specific, but we will be digging into some fantasy stuff, and also I have a new Sage comic coming out very soon. I planned for Saturday. I might do early in the week because I want to get a prompt guide for it. I want to be able to give people everything they need to make their own tumbling up comics. So I might focus on the prompt guide before releasing the last chapter of this comic. Let's see here, and I see Josh C says, I combine like 20 people's prompts into one. I'll add it in VC Create. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's the kind of fun that I'm all about. Like just show off whatever is your favorite thing that you've been messing with here. We can see Bert is currently in the process of generating an anthropomorphic shrimp man as the Easter Bunny, and it's always horror. It's always horrific whenever we mix anything related to shrimp or mantis or whatever. So thank you for keeping that horror show alive. Let's see here. Not even 5 minutes in, and we're already there. Yeah, and we do have a YouTube channel. You can find a link for it inside of VC Text. Kinky will be sharing links every once in a while. So if there is anything that you guys, if I talk about YouTube, I talk about Twitch or anything like that, you'll see Linky Kong giving it all those useful links. So thank you so much for that. Let's see here. Your ad here. Yeah, let's start selling stuff on Cat Girls, and that's I actually think you'd make a good amount of money. There's probably so many people doing that already. But your ad here is making me laugh, though. Whoa, okay, yeah. This is really fun to be writing these Mantis Shrimp's new lady. I know for Rhapsody's sake we'll probably move on from these, but I do want to show off the new editor, and we might grab one of these to do that. So we'll see. But
I'm just defeated at this point.
Oh yeah. Just gonna let it happen. Let's see here.
With your dirty shrimps all year long if you want.
I see we have JDRS also prompting in here. We have Gom Pasta and a couple others. So feel free to just keep sharing whatever stuff you guys are working on. We will peek back into this thread every once in a while. We will be using the new Midjourney editor, which means I'll be popping in and out of that. So occasionally we'll have to hop back into here and see what you guys are doing. Let's go ahead and actually already get that started here. I need to create a new session here for our editor. I want to know from you guys. Actually, why don't we start with a pretty simple prompt here. I'm going to grab. Yeah, shoot. Let's give this a try. Let's give the new editor a try with one of these images from Noob Lady here. I know that I fully recognize that this is leaning into the shrimp stuff, but I'm definitely wanting to play around with the new editor in a way that you guys can really see the potential of it. I think that this nice open background and whatnot can kind of show off what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to get this into my library, and upscaling it alone is enough. You need to actually bring it into your Midjourney account. And there's a couple ways you can do that, but the easiest way is actually just to do a custom zoom inside of Discord and then set the zoom to 1.01, which means that it just barely zooms out at all. It's not going to zoom out much of it at all. And this will let you get 4 results that you'll then see inside of your midjourney.com account. So I'm just going to let that finish rendering here. Okay. And now I'll refresh my browser here. Perfect. And hop on because I have it down here on my tablet. And I'm going to actually move Victor here so that the chats don't get too interrupted. Let's see. There we go. And shrink. There we go. I see the Bo mood board is being fully utilized by Enid at the moment.
Yeah.
But okay, let me grab this really quick, and then we'll probably dig into some fantasy stuff, because this is something that I just want to show you guys the basics of how this works, and then we'll start stylizing it and going for a specific intent here. So what I'm gonna do is go to. Oh yeah, what's your idea?
Yeah, we're gonna prompt it in VC Create.
Okay, yeah. You dive into that, and I'll just kind of show off the new tools with this
You
shrimp.
show off the new tools. I keep an eye on VC Create and VC Text.
Perfect. Okay, so at this point, what we can do is we have our image here. We can go to the editor on the bottom right corner, and there are a couple new things that you guys will notice here. And I will actually move myself again just a little bit so that you guys can see the layers function. Right, those just right behind me. It's the bottom left corner of your screen. You will now see that there are layers, and we can actually add either a file or a URL. So if we have an existing generated image, we could just pop it in there and start compositing inside of Midjourney now, which is awesome. But I'm first going to show off the object selection tool, and then we'll start adding things from each other's libraries. I'm probably going to dig into what you guys are making inside of VC Create to start adding things to this canvas. But I want to first start with the new selection tool right here. Okay. You are going to notice that we have this button that we can click on that's going to let us start selecting, just like in Photoshop object selection tool. The smart selection lets us just basically highlight based on the edges or the just edge detection that's being used here. So if there's anything that's kind of missing, like let's try to, I want to see if we can maybe get the antennas to be selected here. I'm curious if it's going to let it do it. There we go. Look at that. That's so impressive, actually. Even Photoshop fails at doing this kind of fine line stuff. So this is really impressive. But now that we have this selection here, we are given the option to either erase the selection or to erase the background. Okay. So we could do it both ways, but just to show you first, let's do erase background. And you could see that we lost a little bit of the detail when it comes to, like, basically it's there's not a huge feather on this, so it's a pretty hard line. Sometimes it could be a little off, but that's actually where the prompts come in, where we can basically say, it says a goddess riding a mantis shrimp through a white sand desert. Let's say we didn't want it to be a white desert. Let's do a pink desert instead. And now with the object selection, we're able to better be able to composite images in a dynamic way. So like we can even go back at any point by clicking on the image that we started with here. So now we have her riding through a look at the pink. It's awesome. And the thing is that because of the Midjourney's imaginative brain, a lot of these holes are going to be filled with new things to explore, new shapes. Look how long the antennas are now, things like that. So that is the object selection in a nutshell. But if I now go back to this, we're in a state where we can start adding things from other prompts into this image. So let's see here. Scripted. Joey says I'm being scripted. No, if you think this is a script, man, you don't know. I am a mumbly jumbly. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time, and I really enjoy it. I'm far too distractible to follow a script. That's 100% true. But if we now grab something from VC Create that you guys have made, there's a lot of fun stuff already. Let's see here. Yes, let's grab the Easter Bunny holding shrimp in his basket. Let's do that. And we will now hop ourselves back over to midjourney.com. You're all good, Joey. It's all good. I'm just messing with you. So we can hit add, and then add from URL. And now I'm going to paste the URL to the bunny. Okay. There he is. And you can see it's just going to pop it right in there for us. And we can now go to move, and we can move it individually from the rest of the image. That's awesome. But let's also use objects. What? Sorry?
Yeah, that's a very useful tool.
Yeah, oh, whoops, I accidentally hit enter. So so it's failed to work on this one. That's fine. So if you hit enter, it essentially flattens the image. I'm very used to hitting enter to confirm the transformation of things. So the fact that it just always confirms it when it's sitting there, that was my bad. But what I want to do now is I want to let's see. Can we drag this below this one? Yes, and we can even order the layers. That's very awesome. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure this bunny is the only thing that we have selected. So we go to Smart Select, and then we will start clicking on this bunny. Oh, nope, wrong layer. That layer. Boop. Oh, is it only doing the outer layer? Let's see. Hold on. Let me go to let me just move this up to the top. There we go. Bunny's there. Gonna select the bunny. All right, cool. So yeah, just work on the top layer, I guess. So let's go ahead, and if you hold Shift, you actually do a negative selection or exclusion selection. You can just click it here as well. But if you are familiar with Photoshop, that's the same hotkey. So that's really useful. But we can go ahead and get the shrimp selected. Always work on whichever layer is on top. Yep. Okay, cool. Probably because the other layer is so large it's overlapping the bunny. Yeah, probably. There's probably other arbitrary reasons why this one is making me work with the... But yeah, I just shift that layer. Whichever one I plan on working on, I put on the top. And now we're just going to finish finding all these shapes. Okay, there we go. We have the bunny here. And we will say erase background. Boop. Now we have the bunny and this lady here. And so let's just do a little bit of movement of the bunny just to get us a little bit better of a perspective on him. And we don't have any ability to warp or distort the images yet, but it is very useful to be able to do this, all right? Where we can set up some blocking of the characters and then use that blocking as an image prompt to create a refined or finished version of this. So right now it's going to be basically like, we'll see how good the perspective is, how much it's able to fudge all this together, but we have to describe what's happening in this scene. So let's say a goddess riding a mantis ship through a pink sand desert where she meets a bunny, and let's leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that for now. And in terms of cleaning it up or anything like that, you could see that some of the sky is showing through on the lobster here. We could switch over to that layer and actually start deleting manually parts of the bits of the sky that are there. But this should be good to get started. Missed an opportunity to use the Pink Pony Club. I don't know what they're referencing. But let's take a look at what we got here. You can see just the chaos of this is so much fun, though. Like, it has an element... They give the bunny real big legs, and I like that. Oh, that's silly. But the editor now has just so much potential for what we can do with it. Like, in terms of compositing and setting up our shops. It just means this is one less reason that I need to hop off of Midjourney and go to Photoshop. It really is awesome for that reason. I am wondering at this point, now that we have this kind of little demo for you guys of these rather, more realistic / puppet models, we're going to get into cartooning next. That's mostly what we do here. We mostly focus on characters. So it's probably going to be digging back into fantasy stuff. But I'm open for whatever you guys want to do. Inside of VC Text, you're welcome to pitch ideas, pitch things for us to make, that kind of stuff. But if you're not familiar with me, my name is Victor Gnarly, and I mostly make comics nowadays. But I am a former visual effects artist for Adult Swim. I worked on shows like More Oral, Robot Chicken, and a whole bunch of other stop motion things. And it's just so much fun to be able to do this in such a widely collaborative way with you guys now, as opposed to being in stuffy Hollywood writers' rooms and all that kind of stuff. This is so much better. It's so much more fun this way. But I'm curious at this point what you guys want to do, want to explore. We do have an existing fantasy series on our server. I'll go ahead and do a little demo of that really quick, because it is important for you guys to be able to have a place to hang out outside of these streams and just find people to collaborate on projects with. That's really what we're all about. storytelling, world building, and community. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the character portal, copy link, and then I'll open this up on this tab here. Let's see if it makes me do anything silly. Yeah, it's going to make me do something silly really quick. Just a second. And then show you guys where you can drop off your original characters, and we will show you guys how to use them inside of Midjourney. Okay, authenticator. Just a sec, guys. Sorry. And one. I have to make the habit of not spelling out my own password so that you guys could hear it. Let's.
We all know it's Banana Man 22.
Why 22?
It's your password, you tell me.
It's the age I think I am stuck at mentally. That's the best reason I can give you. Okay. Let me just show you guys this though. Inside of our Gnarly Studio server, you're going to find something called the character portal. And inside of the character portal, right here, you'll find all sorts of original characters from so many people here at this community. I'm actually going to zoom on out here so it's a little more obvious. You could just see how many of them we got, and they're actually all categorized by theme. So if you want a western, if you want a fantasy, if you want a sci-fi, they're all there. You're welcome to grab any characters you like. We definitely lean towards a anime or drawn / illustrated aesthetic. I personally have a kind of Franco-Belgian inspired anime style. So it is something that if you guys know any of my characters or have seen some of my comics, they're all here. Like if you want a prompt with Michael, he's right here. So you have everything that you need, including the image prompts, which will help you guide the result like this here. If he's at work and he's wearing his jacket and he's speaking to Sage, then you have this image here to say, all right, I need the backside of him. You can use this as a character reference or an image prompt and it'll work. Same thing with this. If he's not wearing his jacket, I also oftentimes have him relaxed reading a newspaper. So these two over-the-shoulder shots is how you can composite a standard over-the-shoulder film shot, which I use all the time. It's basically whenever the characters are talking to each other, I'm using one of these from one of them.
Actually, you could just grab one of these over-the-shoulder shots now.
Oh, right.
Input it into the editor.
Yeah,
and
let's
just
do it.
Put him in different places.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That sounds like a lot of fun. I also have a Tumbling Up profile that I've been using very heavily. That's partly what I was saying about wanting to make a prompt guide, is because we have the new editor, we have all this new capability, but I also have a particular workflow that I use to make my comics now, and it's very similar to the Spellbroke profile that we have for the fantasy series. So I am going to link that as well. You can find that on our server inside of the knowledge base. We have that right here. The knowledge base is a product of Rhapsody, actually. She put all that, she got that all started here. It's such a great resource for all sorts of cool things. And the one I contributed here is the Spellbroke prompt guide. So I'm just going to copy that for you guys and paste it inside of VC text for you all. So if you are ever... Oops, I'll actually give a direct link to that too.
Oh. One thing.
It's magic?
Before I forget again.
Yeah.
No. Because you just went over the character portal, and I want to say something about it. It's not only characters. We have an ongoing short story that gets a new chapter about every single day written by Bert. And I think they are really good, The Night Market.
Yeah.
And it's worth a look. If you like to read like little short stories about weird creatures or shopkeepers in a fantasy, dark type of inspired night market, then that's the place. I love them.
Yeah, and this is something that we really encourage people to do, is to just embrace the character portal how they want to. And basically, like, the only real rule is that if you diverge away from what someone is doing with their character, just make a new character. That's really it, right? You could make an evil version of them or a good version of them, whatever you want to do, whatever you want. That's fine. But it is something that you'll see as you scroll through these. The diversity of people's characters is enormous. So this actually gives us let's do that over the shoulder thing because I think that's a lot of fun. And yes, Bert, awesome. Thank you so much for contributing. I am not much of a literary guy, so like this is catering to that with these with your stories is so cool to have that element also in here. So definitely keep it up, man. I want to let's see, let's go ahead and now grab our over the shoulder. I think I already copied the link, but I'll confirm by just pasting in my browser here. Nope, let me get that link now. So we will find Michael. And we might even be able to build the Tumbling Up prompt guide while we're here. We'll see. But if you can't quickly find your character, you can also search it up here. But you do have to be very specific on the name. It's one of the things I actually, it's kind of annoying about the forums and Discord. If you slightly spell something wrong or it's missing the exact verbiage, like you included a really random last name for your character, it's really hard to search for them. So I just recommend simple names, you know. But let's go ahead and grab this over the shoulder. I'm going to do the one where he's reading the newspaper. Let's grab that. So I got the link here. I'm going to open up the tablet, and we are going to create a new image here. So we will go into New on the top right corner, edit from URL, paste our URL. It's so cool that all you guys have this now, by the way. So like, because originally it was only for like annual members and stuff like that, but now you all got it. So we can immediately use the object selection here to get rid of this white background that's here. Just by quickly selecting Michael here. If there's any kind of frayed bits, I am going to do a little bit of excessive clicking just to make sure that I select this outline, making sure that as much of this green zone covers the actual character design. Like there, it was a little... Sorry, go ahead.
Do the reverse. Just select the white.
Oh, select the white. Well, yeah. Either way, we could do that. Boop. Oops, not that. Select and boop. There we go. Yeah, I mean it still gives a little bit of fraying towards the edges here. If you notice, there's like a little bit of pitting on the white here and here, but I think it's not so literal. I think there's a little bit of flexibility when it comes to that. So now that we have this here, I'm just going to say remove or erase background. Oops, that's right. That's why I did it that way, Rhapsodies, is because of the terminology here. Yeah. Select like the erase selection. We are selecting the background now, which is nothing. So we are going to erase the selection. Let's do that. Yep. Okay, and now
there's also this new switch button.
Switch button?
Yeah, if you go back, there is like this turnaround button next to erase selection, which basically... Oh, what?
No, that's an undo button.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So let's
I thought it would just turn them around.
No, I wish that too. It would be nice if this was a flip, like it should look like the Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
But let's erase our selection here. That will erase this background. Even though it says erase background, this one we selected the background before, so we just say erase selection. Let's make this an aspect ratio of 69. So if we go to move here, we can actually have some preset aspect ratios that are very common. So 69 being film, that's probably the most common. We will now move Michael to the edge of this. Okay. And at this point, we could prompt for anything. We could throw a live action background in there. We could do really whatever we wanted to do. If we don't allow if none of this checkered pattern shows up in the image by the time we're done, it's only compositing it. It's only smashing or flattening all those layers together and turning them into a single image. So in my opinion, we really want Midjourney to, go ham with this, right? So what I'm going to do is oh, Snoopy's here. Hi, Snoopy. What I'm going to do now, though, is I am going to grab the Tumbling Up profile. So if I now open up, and I'm just going to leave this open here, I'm going to open up a second tab. I usually have 2 tabs of Midjourney open at the same time. And the reason why I do is one of them is for pulling up images in my history, and the other one's for actively working on images. So now that I have 2 tabs open, you can see the original edit is right here. Now that I have 2 tabs open, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my personalization settings. And inside of here, we have all of the mood boards that we've created on this stream, as well as some fan ones that I've made. I did a comic with Graceland West, who is a comic artist on Reddit, and he has his own mood board that I built for the comic that we did together. And it's just really interesting to see how much effect these mood boards have on the results. It really lets us be able to stay either within an animated or illustrated aesthetic without prompting for it. It is really helpful, actually. So we have one here called Tumbling Up 2. That's the one that I use mostly now. I'm going to hit use profile on here, and that's going to give me a code. If you look at the Tumbling Up profile here, it's actually all my comics. It's particularly the Working for the Weekend series and a little, and some of the Bill ones and some of the early comics that I did. I will eventually make a Tumbling Up 3 that includes a couple of the newer ones too, but these are my most popular comics. At least this one especially here was the most popular. So I really want to lean towards this aesthetic, and so we added that all into a mood board. We have this code up here now, and I can now copy that code and then paste it into my prompt here on this edit that we're doing. We want to make sure, at least for this workflow, that I turn on Niji 6. Now, I don't have to do that, by the way, but I'm going to do it just because I know through my working with this that it looks better this way. And now let's try to say, because Sage is so often inside of the mood board, I only have to describe a blonde woman to get someone that looks sort of like Sage most of the time. So I'll say that there's a blonde coworker who spilt coffee on her, let's just say it's a red tie. Okay. And that should be just about it. Yeah, we don't need to include an aspect ratio because we already did that manually with this tool right here. And I oftentimes turn on style raw or hyphen raw because it gives me a little less of the kind of like textured flair that can sometimes be a little annoying to edit later, especially when it comes to like really fine textures that it applies. I like the results of raw often more for doing construction of comics and things like that. So let's just send this over and see what we do. We also have some tweaks done to the moderator. So for people who are kind of frustrated with how limited the moderator let you set certain images out and all that stuff, that's not true anymore. You could do a lot more now than you did before. So for anyone that was a little frustrated with that, like, you know, to cry out censorship and all that kind of stuff, you have less to cry about now. But look at this. So here we have all sorts of just amazing reactions from this. This one's the one that makes the least sense because it split them into 2 panels. We didn't even describe this as multiple comic panels, but because it's so common inside of the mood board, it's already finishing the comics. And so now what we got to do is we just gotta, I would recommend running a couple of these just to see, right? I love doing this where I just kind of blast a bunch of options at Midjourney at once, and we just kind of see the diversity that we get. Let's do that really quick. So I just click on the first image here that gives us the blank that we had before with the prompt that was used, and I can just span this a couple times, and we'll just see what we get. And then we'll pick their favorite one and start a little comic here. This is essentially how I've been doing the workflow, but with the editor now being able to, just composite stuff inside of Midjourney, I'm not hopping between Photoshop anymore, which is so much more efficient. Efficient for me anyway. So let's see if we get anything goofy off of this prompt alone, and then we'll start inpainting Sage back in using character referencing. So I am also going to grab this profile for you guys so that you can immediately start playing with the Sage, with Sage and Michael inside of the Tumbling Up comics, because the generic versions of her, these are the puppets. These are essentially the starting points for a Tumbling Up comic. So you find the one that you feel like matches the characters the most, or is the one that makes you laugh the most, and then you finish it. There will always be some element of variation. Like here, her hair is a little more strawberry than it normally is. She's definitely there is a trope that gets applied here with the word blonde that you guys should be also aware of. It is something I realized very early on when I was making the very first tutorial, which is if I describe a blonde woman or a blonde person, it also makes them a little ditzy, like looking. Like it is an unfortunate trope, but it is one of those things where if you want to avoid that, you can just ask for any other hair color or anything like that, and then in-paint her hair color later. There's an element of narrative tropes that always gets applied whenever we're doing anything with Midjourney, frankly. So it is something to be aware that, like, I did the tutorial with Micah, and she has this. I'm forgetting the name of it now, but it's called idiot hair in Japanese. And it's the little floop. It's that little swoop on the top of your hair. That is, it automatically applied the idiot hair whenever I mentioned blonde, and I realized that it was translating that for me. I thought that was so cool, but also unfortunate, because I was like, that's not what I intended. I don't mean for her to be ditzy, that kind of thing. So yeah, be aware of your language. Say it again. Sorry.
I think the name is Ahogi or
A
something.
hoagie, yeah,
Like that.
yeah, a hoagie. It's every time I hear it, I hear hoagie, like what Lux said, right? And it just makes me hungry. I would love a hoagie right now. But let's see here. If we go ahead and look at what we rendered here. No, that's right. I was going to share this with you guys first. That's right. So I'm going to make sure you guys all have that here. So I'm going to first hop ourselves over to the VC Create and paste the profile so that you guys have it. It is a version 6.1 profile. It does not work very well with version 7 right now. Okay. So if we just say multiple comic panels, and I'm going to run Niji and then raw, it will give us a pretty good base for this. I use /show instead of instead of imagine. Let's fix that. Okay. Ooh, going passes. I didn't cat girls already. Sweet. But if you notice here, if you just prompt for multiple comic panels on their own, there's no reference of an office setting. There's no reference of the characters themselves. It's just as open of a prompt as you can get for comics. You could see how much influence the actual mood board has on these characters, but also how much freedom there is too. Like, unfortunately, there's not enough African American characters in my series. I do want to include a couple, including Legal Beagle's character that he had made for the series. But that first result there, immediately we have an African American character that we can start developing just off of that first result, and it's all thanks to the mood board and being able to rely less on the words that we're writing and more on the visual imagery that we're providing Midjourney to base that off of. So very, very fascinating, but feel free to just use this profile code in this prompt right here. And in fact, to make it even easier for you guys, I'm going to hit copy link and then paste that inside of VC text for you guys. So you can just click this. So start making, I'll write it here for you guys. Start making comics here. Boom. Okay. And you're welcome to click that. That'll bring you immediately to this prompt. And if you have remix mode on, you can hit reroll and immediately start making your own comic this way. You can either add to this text, or you can replace the text and just start off with maybe an animated fantasy film like we do with the Phantasma series. you can immediately start to apply that here on Discord and start having fun with it. I really want to see what you guys end up doing with this. Especially since the style that's being implied here is the Tumbling Up comics with a little more chibi effect, and that's just a byproduct of Niji 6. But we're already getting some fantastic magic event happening on the top right here with this green slime here. Yeah, awesome. So I'll let you guys have fun with that. Enjoy the mood board, but let's hop ourselves now back over to the editor, where I'll finish up our little demo here. So we have a couple different results. I haven't actually looked through these in detail, but let's go ahead and do that. So we have her screaming at Michael here. We got basically a coffee like spoon spill here. I always love it whenever it does this sort of body duplication here, because it means that I just need to draw motion lines in between these, and it's like she's like dodging whatever's being thrown at her or something like that. There's a lot of potential for this sort of, and I did that a lot in Saxophone Solos of the Third Kind, which is a comic that partially that has Bill Clinton in it and stuff like that. What I did there was I wanted her to grab a magazine, and it gave me a result where she had three arms: an arm where she grabbed the magazine, an arm where she pulled it towards herself, and then an arm where she's opening the book. All three of those are illustrated in the same image, so I just drew motion lines between them, and that got us that scene. Very, very cool. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the one that completes the premise the most, okay? This one looks like she's just going to get like the equivalent of a Gatorade dump of coffee on her. That would be awful. I would hate that. But this one's actually really cute. I do like this one. I do think it's fun that they're kind of sitting in a break room. Michael's a little too tall for it, but it's fine. I'm just looking through the rest of these really quick. That's like she bumped into Michael while walking. That's fun. And you will notice that there's like proportions and things that are going to vary a lot. That's fine, because we're going to now in-paint Sage into one of these. Let's go ahead and grab this one. I think this is going to be the most fun, the one with the strawberry hair here. So in terms of spilling it on her tie or anything like that, that was the thing that at least understood. Version 7 is going to be a lot better at understanding coherency stuff like that. But let's go ahead and get Sage in painted here. So first thing I like to do is I like to come over to let's see, paint. And then I first get rid of anything that doesn't really match the scene. So I'm going to get rid of this coffee cup that's up here. It's kind of funny that someone threw something at her, but I don't think that would happen at the workplace without necessarily getting into silly office antics or having something to set up for that. So I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to say that she's holding this coffee cup here. Okay. And I'm just going to change the premise of this to a blonde coworker holding a cup of coffee in the break room. Okay. And I'm going to give us a little more room up here, just so there's room for her thumb and stuff. And there can be sometimes a little bit of a fine line in between your selections. So just make sure you kind of over-select a little bit. And that should be good. Okay. Let's just first get her to hold the coffee, and then we'll start in-painting Sage to have continuity for her character. Let's see here. And we do that a lot with a tool called CREF, or character referencing. And that is a big element of the character portal now. It's not required. You don't actually have to use character referencing. You can rely on word-only prompts. In fact, I think Gompasta and Rhapsody are kind of the queens of that, of what is the prompt spells, of making reliable characters without using a single image. But combining all these together is how you actually wrangle the beast that is Midjourney. So if I now, while this is running here, we can see that it's still rendering our holding the coffee cup here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop ourselves over to the character portal, and I'll find Sage. Let's see. Doop. Yeah. So here's the character portal. And since I'm looking for a specific character this time and not just kind of browsing what characters we've already made for you guys, I will come up to search up here, and I'll just search Sage. Okay. And we have her cats. We have let's see here. Okay, so we have Sage's apartment, Sage the Mage, which is a fantasy version of Sage made by Legal Beagle. We have Sage's cats, and then Cozy Sage as well. That's right. I can scroll up a little bit. And then we have the office space as well. These are both style references, so that if you want to remake the comic like more in construction and using SREF instead of profile mood boards, that's all here. So I'm noticing I probably need to actually upload a more updated version of Sage for this one. She's probably baked inside of one of these here. So let me just grab that from my notes here, because I do have a new one made by Gom Pasta that I'm very, very happy with. It was a while ago they made it, but I will just paste this image here. Oops, not with the CRF. Just to show this off a little bit. Okay. I love this character turnaround. There's so many good things about it. It has all... I wanted her to be a workaholic, a little bit of a mess, like that kind of thing. I like the fact that there's so many wrinkles in her outfit. She didn't have time to iron anything. Like, her hair is a certain level of unkept that is how I feel like she needs to be. If by comparison, someone who really dolls themselves up and stuff like that would be Vicky by comparison. So we have two different characters to kind of contrast each other in that way. And the boots and whatnot is something where I probably want to make a version of this where she's wearing pumps as well as boots. So we have two options for her. But yes, this is such a fun sheet that we're going to use here today. But creating these character sheets is a major element of our streams normally. But with the new tools here today, we're going to dig into that. And then next week, we will start with a completely original character and just dig into how do we create these sheets, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link to the sheet. And now we will open up the editor here, tablet. There you go. Okay, it's still spinny wheel. So let me just go ahead and submit this one more time. This probably is just a little bug. We'll see how this renders. Oh, failed to upload image. Interesting. So we'll come back to.
Yeah, I had that. I had that before. You just need to reload the page.
Reload the page. Okay. F5.
And then go view all, and then you can open back up what you left.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, it just straight up bugged out there. It's all good. So let's find the image we were working on. I'm just going to grab this here and say that she is holding this coffee cup. We want to make sure there's enough selected of the coffee cup that it still recognizes that it's a coffee cup. But I'm going to just go right there and then rewrite this prompt as being blonde coworker chatting in the break room with a cup of coffee. Let's see if we get the spinny wheel this time. It's running. This is just so that we basically give the direction of the scene. If we use the profile and we do not describe comic panels or anything like that, you're still going to get comic elements that pass through because they're inside of the mood board. There are certain amounts of continuity that we also get from the mood board, which is super handy, like I showed you with just asking for a generic blonde in the prompt. But look at that. There she is. She's holding the coffee cup. In 2 out of the 4 results, she's holding the coffee cup. That's perfect. So I'm going to go with this one, and I'm going to drag this scene down just a little bit. I'm going to make sure that we have a little bit more, because she only has 3 fingers here. She has a bit of a crab claw hand here. So let's try to encourage that we want more fingers here. So 4 fingers. And now we are going to paste the character turnaround into the image bar above here. That is going to let us make a choice here. We could either use the image as an image prompt, as a style reference, or as a character reference. And obviously we're going to pick this last one here for this demo. But it is important to recognize what these 3 are used for. Okay? Character referencing is pretty self-evident. It's just going to replicate whatever's the character design that's in there. And we are going to apply a weight to it. So --CW and then 80. And the reason why I use CW 80 so often is because I want a little bit of influence on the art style from the mood board specifically, as opposed to strictly relying on the character reference. So CW80 gives us a little bit of influence from the mood board to help these things mesh. That's just my opinion, but that's what I like to do. But style reference is a lot more for basically taking inspiration from not necessarily the literal composition of images, but a lot of the artistic choices in it, the line weights, the color temperature, the subjective elements of your image. Image prompting is the objective elements of your image, or just the composition. So if we were to use, say, this image that we're working on now as an image prompt, it's more likely going to encourage images that look like this one, as in a character over the shoulder looking at a person, right? So what I'm going to do here, though, is now that we kind of did a very quick overview of these three, I'm going to just select any sort of missing bits, because character referencing is so strong you can use it to delete things that are not included in the character, but we mostly want to focus on continuity. What are the things that are different from this character versus Sage's sheet here? And there's a couple of key ones. There's ones I always look for. One is hair color and direction. The hair has these banana bangs, and they're more golden than strawberry like it is here. So we're going to make sure we select all of her hair here. I still want a hoagie. Okay, all right. And so we now going to grab this here, because I see that little tuft of hair that I just cleaned up here, and it's a hoagie for sure. So we can start to find anything that doesn't match the character design. And the thing is that Sage also has absolutely massive pupils. I did that so that she kind of looks like a cute cat. With big eyes and stuff like that. She also, I mean, she's a cat lady. She has 3 cats. So like, I really wanted her to look like her cats too. Just like how, people say like, dog owners look like their dogs or whatever. Or they match their dogs. I wanted that same aesthetic for Sage with her cats. So, I will not mix that up, Golden Pasta. I know not to mix that up. But let's go ahead and just make sure we select all the hair that's here. There's a little bits of that strawberry still showing through. And keep in mind that any sort of proportions we have to also take into account. She's not so busty, so let's go ahead and also in-paint this here. Just a little bit here. And I'm going to keep the kind of brighter white of the shirt for now, because if we delete too much, Midjourney won't know what we want to do. It'll just kind of randomly put something that probably will not aesthetically match the rest of the scene. So I'm just going to go with this, and we are going to just hit submit, because with a character weight of 80, it should patch everything up just right to make it look like Sage and give us those banana bangs, the things that hang in front of each ear. That's what we're aiming for here, is to make sure that she has those, that kind of like branded or trademark look. They're neither trademarked or copyright, but you know what it is. Anyway, so look at this. It's looking great already. So we can get her. She's always a little more pissed whenever we throw her in there. I feel like we're always kind of disturbing her whenever we're doing this. But we can kind of go through our options here and see which one, first off, anatomically makes the most sense. That's beyond character design, honestly, is the fact that your anatomy makes sense. Luckily, we're working with just generic humans here. We're not working with fantasy characters with all sorts of wild attributes and stuff like that. But we can kind of look at these and see which one has 4 fingers first. I know that you guys are like, oh, pay attention to the expressions, the personality, all that. I get really annoyed when I miss something simple like a character should have 5 fingers. So I try to a little bit over focus on that. But let's see here. We could always in-paint new ones though. So I'm gonna go with this one. And we could see with her hair, though, which one do I like more? So it's just basically, those are the 2 key things that I'm kind of looking for here and see if I want to change. And you can also see that Sage's character reference even had influence on Michael's belt here. So Michael is technically wearing Sage's pants. at this point here. But let's go for... I like this one a lot, but I also like this one. The thing is that this element in her hair is actually meant to tuck behind her ear, so we would probably in-paint this corner if we pick this one. You see, it's supposed to be like this, right? Where we have that little hang under the ear here. But I like the bangs more on this one, so let's go with that. I'm going to just in-paint this little correction here. Let's get try to get a pinky also in here. Oh yes, and we let's have her not be so cry-eyed. Doesn't really make sense for her much. And she has these. She doesn't necessarily have these big eyebrows, but we'll just go with this. We'll just see what we get with this here. Okay. And submit. And we basically start to create a bit of a premise here. Oh, it did the fail to upload thing again. So let's try that again here. So I'm gonna do it again. Yes. Okay. So we'll just refresh here. Also, this is very, very new. There's always a chance things break while we're doing these streams. It wouldn't have been the first time that something new happens, and then I get a note saying, hey, we fixed it. Like during stream. So let's see here. View all. And get this prompt back up here. Okay. So we got to find that selection again. This one here. Yes. So let's just recreate that really quick. And she actually has solid black eyes for the pupils, so I'm just going to come in here. The devs are doing a lot of work to fix things. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good to know. We'll just go ahead and get a pinky in here. And I think this is pretty... Oh, yeah, it's the crying eyes. I want to get rid of the crying eyes. She doesn't... She really isn't that... Like, she's a very loud person, but she isn't a very emotional person in that way. Like, she isn't... She, if anything, she's going to be a little more stone with people when it comes to being in vulnerable places with vulnerable people, that kind of thing. I think it's a lot more instructions unclear. Now I have a hair in my mouth. Okay, but I will just make note of that whenever we're developing characters. It's really important to have a hard line on things. Like to like if a person acts a certain way or a certain like behavior of them, you really want to be able to establish that and have it be read through the character design, right? And so the thing is that with this character design, she tends to be a little grumpy. Like she tends to have an element of grump to her. But it's also true that I tend to pick mounts that are kind of angry or upset or frustrated, in like kind of a wow, what are you talking about kind of face. That's that. At least that's the most common for me. But we can kind of come through here and start to pick an expression that, or at least eyes that match her well. I think the first one's actually pretty decent. Let's go with that here. And now, if we want her to say anything specific or to do anything specific, here's the unique part of the Spellbroke profile. Oh, you got a new reaction face? Look at this. Look at this. That's great. That's really cute. I can't tell if it's kind of like I'm sad with a round nose, kind of like a Squidward nose, or whether she's like puckered face, like she ate a lemon, right? I think you would have to separate or widen the mouth in a way if you were going to do that. I'm curious what expression you think that is. But let's because I just see kind of a Squidward sad face, honestly, with the lower dip nose like that. Definitely an out of place Squidward nose. Right, exactly. And then you could just in-paint Squidward's face on there. Why not? But let's go ahead and start to establish a different expression on Sage here, because right now she's pretty grumpy. Okay. I mean, the original premise was that she spilled coffee on herself, right? So that kind of makes sense. But if I now get rid,
grumpy then.
Yeah, I would be very grumpy. I haven't spilt coffee myself in a good minute though. It's also true I haven't been a commuter in a while. I feel like I would spill my coffee all the time. Let's see here. now what I'm going to do is I am going to show you guys that because of the mood board of the Tumbling Up comics, this is like probably the most looked after or overlooked thing. It's also the reason why people get stuck making these things, is because they rely too much on character referencing. There is not a range of expressions for on this face. It's just kind of a too frumpy, too sad. Just like kind of like resting bitch face, kind of on the right here, and then the left is just her happy. No big deal. But I have but there's massive ranges and combinations of faces that you need to do cartooning. Okay, so the mood board includes all sorts of moments inside of my comics that we will exploit to make this scene a little more, or at least start directing Sage here. So let's take her face here, her lower half of her face, and we can include her eyebrows if we want, but I'm pretty happy with this already. So let's just go with this. And now I am going to delete the character referencing, and I'm making sure that the character weight is also deleted. It will not let us continue if this parameter is in there without a character reference. And now that I have this here, I can direct her however I want because it's going to refer to all the expressions inside of the mood board. So I could say that let's see, she is confused, and I do confusion a lot. Let's say your mood board. Do you have one per character? One that features Sage or multiple characters? So my mood board here is, and I'll just show that really quick because I think it's pretty important to show that off. Let's see here. So the Tumbling Up mood board is actually just the completed comics. It is the important thing is that they are the completed comics. It works a little better if there wasn't any text inside of these images. I do have all my style references on the Gnarly Studios server specifically without text, so you could use them as style references. Otherwise, you might see the words pop up inside of your results. But as a mood board, I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any issues doing this as a mood board. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of my characters. It's a bunch of characters that we've come up with subtle variations in their designs because I've made them over time. I mean, some of these images, like some of these comics are almost 2 years old now, going back to version 4 with Midjourney. So it is important to kind of recognize that there is a little bit of variation in the results, but because they're all kept to an aesthetic that I chose, the results that we get are far more consistent. So I do not have a mood board per character. I have a mood board. Every page is its own image inside of the mood board. There are so many ways you could build this, by the way. Like you could literally just make one of one character and see what it does. But I have a very strong feeling that you're going to get a lot of shots that look like character turnarounds. There's a reason why there are no character turnaround sheets inside of this. It's all comics because my intention is to make comics. I guess that's the lesson there is the mood board should be your intention. Should be what you want to make, okay? If you want to make character turnarounds, then you probably make a mood board that's all character turnarounds. That has the diversity that you're looking for in the art style that you want.
I personally cannot wait for the new mood boards to show up. Like, David said it in the last office hours. They are working right now on the new version of style referencing, which is part of mood boards. And apparently it should be much better.
Yeah, I'm excited for improvements to version 7. It is just an alpha, so we really shouldn't judge version 7 right now.
We shouldn't.
We should get
but I can say that discussions around that are going on.
Okay.
Awesome.
Like right now.
Like right now. It's all happening in real time. Let's see here. All right, super excited for the new SRF mood boards. Yeah, I am too. It is something that a lot of us are eager to get past the alpha stage of version 7, but it takes time. It takes effort. It takes a lot of feedback from you guys. That's why there's ratings on the Midjourney website now. So if you look at like any image that you create, okay, like our funky shrimpmas, our shrimp lady Easter stuff, you have help us improve V7 right here. If you like this image, if you don't, that kind of thing, just help it out. Like that's how we get a better version 7. So okay, all right. Let me finish up what I was doing here. Where is my tabs? There it is. Okay. So let's get our wording in here. That's right. We did the selection of her mouth here, and I want to change her expression entirely. Let's make her completely surprised. Okay. So I'm going to highlight her eyebrows. I said I liked the expression earlier. I'm gonna. The point is to instruct. So let's get a completely different expression onto her. I'm gonna say that she is. Delete this and get rid of whatever I accidentally pasted in here. There you go. At the front of the prompt now, I will say that she is wide-eyed and surprised. And I don't need to describe the room. I don't need to describe any of that because it's in none of our selection here. But it is helpful to be able to say, hey, this is something that we're what do you call it? That where sometimes the context does matter, but it is important. I think for the sake of what we're doing here, it's just fine to go with. She is wide-eyed and surprised, and we'll just hit submit on that. It's just the combination. Oh wait, that's right. There's a character weight in here. It's gonna yell at me as soon as this submits. Oh, that's right. I left it in here. Let's go ahead and delete this. The character weight. Oh yeah, I screwed up there. Sorry guys. I was a little too eager to jump back in. After refreshing. The point is that I can actually show you guys now the difference between using a character reference or not to change the expressions and how much it doesn't work with character referencing. You really need an image for every expression you want to have, and you might think that's easy. Oh, it's just happy, it's just sad, or whatever. The reality of that is that you have to combine expressions to tell your character to fully embrace what your character might be feeling. Like if you combine anxious and fearful, you get panic out of that. You get even strife and other like more complex emotional states. And there's a really great a book that you can read that will go through the basics of that. Let me just grab that here. I believe we have it inside of the knowledge base already, but I'll grab that here in a minute. I won't distract myself much. I want to show you guys this first. Okay. So if we look at our different surprised expressions, you notice how dramatically different each one is when it comes to her mouth, her eyebrows. It all kind of gives us a sort of confused face of like what? What are you talking about? That kind of thing. But now if we look at the ones that have character referencing on them, I wouldn't really say that's wide-eyed and surprised. I would say that that's more like a yeah, right, buddy, like kind of face, right? So you could see just how much more stiff or stilted the C-ref is here compared to the more expressionate, relying entirely on just the mood boards here. We could lower the character weight, but then we start to lose like certain elements of her face too. I would much rather just rely on the mood boards for this. And we can even add an element of chaos to this. So let's say chaos 15. And that would be a way, before we had mood boards, we'd use character referencing and add chaos in order to really, really try to push the character referencing out of its comfort zone. But I find that the mood boards is just way better to kind of get us what we're looking for here. So let's say wide-eyed and surprised, huh? Okay, let's see here. It's also my in paint that's not that great. Let's go ahead and change that up just a little bit. She has a little bit of eyebrow that's showing up here, so I'm just gonna make that selection here. And now we shouldn't see it so stiff. Like so stiff on that eyebrow where she's always kind of like questioning face. Let's see what happens if we just make sure we got the rest of that brow selected. And then I want to see what you got going on here, Epsi, because I see an image from you.
Yeah.
Oh, she is so much more wide-eyed.
In the server room.
Yeah, I can't. That's what I'm so curious to see it. She's a bit angry here, but she is much more wide-eyed at this point. You know, it's definitely one of those like the confusion is pushing her eyebrows down to be more questioning, and the wide-eyed is keeping her from kind of squinting or being a little bit dismissive. In fact, if we want to do that, you could literally just kind of select most of the eyes to be like here. Like imagine the range of expression you would have. You would have squinting and wide-eyed, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and allow for squinting, and say she is judging him. She is judgmentally. She's judgment. Yeah, let's just say that she's judgmental. Judging him. I think judging him. It'll come up with the expression we want. She is judging him. And see if we get a little bit more of that kind of squint and scrunch in the face. And then I'm going to hand it over to Rhapsody to show me what she's been up to. Look at that grump. Oh, that is a good grump. Yeah. That's some good grump right there. That's a good grump. We have her kind of green-eyed. Yeah, that's pretty good, but her eyebrows got real thin, so we would have to redraw that manually to get her brows back. I like that too. Oh, I love. It's like, yeah. It's like that. I love doing this where you can kind of like talk for your characters with the up and down keys on the keyboard. Yeah, I love doing that. I love directing characters just by me mocking something. Let's upload this. This one is too funny for me. All right, I'll upscale this. Upscale to gallery, and make sure every time that you guys upscale, remember that there is an element of interpretation of your image that's still happening, as in like it's kind of like saying something to enhance. There's going to be some creativity in how it does that. So if you are doing image manipulation, as in like you are bringing these images into another program, or you're going to use it for as an asset to build something, then I highly recommend upscaling 3 or 4 times to your gallery so that you can look at the images very close up and see if there's any weird textures or weird kind of quality issues. It's only an issue with the editor or Upscale Creative. The editor or Upscale Creative. Miss Unicorn, that is my 20-year-old cat. Oh, sorry, my 21-year-old cat. My 21-year-old cat now, who cannot stop telling me that she is that old. So let me give her some food. I'm gonna hand it over to Rhapsody here while this is rendering and upscaling here. I'll give her some food so that she doesn't stop, so that she isn't screaming in your all's ear every 2 seconds, and then she'll just go back to sleep because she's probably awake for like 2 hours a day now. So I'll be right back.
Actually, this would be amazing time for announcements from Kinky Kong. If you're up to that. Kinky?
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I heard you mention my name.
Yes, Victor is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
hi guys, this is Kinky Kong coming right at you. I don't know. I just wanted to say hello and welcome to the Kinky Kong Minute. I'm going to invite you to a little event that we have every weekend called Prompt Battles. Some of the people that you see right now in the room with you will be there. We are a very friendly bunch of prompters who do a little game that we play every weekend, and that game consists of 15 minutes around where we each do a challenge that is given to us by one person, and that challenge is done in any way we see fit as long as it's within the Midjourney terms of service. And when we get done with that, after 10 minutes, we put those items into something called a poll unit where we all vote very anonymously on both ends. Like who posted the picture is not known, and who voted for the picture is not known. And once we've done that, the winner of that vote gets to choose the next challenge idea. And you can win fast hours from winning. You can win fast hours from participating or voting, and you can win fast hours from playing Snoopy's Bingo, and any other reason we can find. And I know that things are a little expensive right now. Not really, but we're in the fast and what is it? Everything's in either regular mode or turbo. Is that what it is?
Yep.
So, I mean, fast hours can be quite useful. Plus, you get to meet the community and make new friends and hang out with people that are super nice. We won't even make you talk. Like, Snoopy never talks. Snoopy only types in the chat. So, feel free to come on by. We do this for about 18 hours every weekend. Sorry, 16 hours every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And you don't have to hang out the whole time unless you're crazy like some of the people that do. Um, Yeah, here's some notifications about where to find that and what time they happen in your neck of the woods. I will post those in the chat. Are you guys good?
Yeah, I'm back now.
All right.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. I had a secret plan.
And I was trying to stretch my little speech as long as I could.
But I mean, you can have every single minute you need. But we had a secret plan, and now it's gone because
Oh,
we
and I
killed it.
ruined it. I ruined the good surprise.
I mean, we can still do it.
Do it.
Just because, yeah. Kinky, do you think it would be possible to? No, no. I'm not gonna ask that question now. But I'm gonna post something in VC text for you all because I just noticed something. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2,
Oh.
3. I'm gonna give you some C refs here. These are from Sage's cats.
Awesome.
One of them. We have them on the character portal too. And we don't have a screaming cat sticker yet on our server.
Ooh.
But it is more than time to create one. So I invite everybody to go ham in VC Create with these C-refs and just create the best screaming cat sticker that we then can use on our server, and everybody can just throw it at Victor whenever his cat is screaming in the background.
Yeah, and bonus points if you use the meme of the screaming cat, the white one that the ancient used, up here. This one, you can even use this as an image prompt or retexture. If you retexture this, you can totally get any one of these cats from the Tumbling Up comics that Rhapsody has linked here. They are based off of my old cats. They what is it? I was asked for a cat tax here, so okay, I can get you a picture of her. Let's see. Every one of them, she looks real frail. I will warn you guys that she's quite old. But let's see here. I'll paste this one, and yeah, I'll give her with her face blip too, because she definitely sticks her tongue out a lot. And let's see where. And she screams a little bit when she's done eating, but then she'll go back to bed. Yeah, I'll give you guys one more picture here. Let's see which one should I do.
Oh, I forgot we have one screaming cat sticker. It's not really a screaming cat. It's a
Sage.
Screaming ancient.
Oh, that's right, ancient as yeah, that's right. There you go. All right, I'll just send you guys these two pictures here. This is Tao. She is 20 years old, I think, turning 21. She
Hand reveal.
It's hand reveal. Yeah, that's my hand. Yeah, there you go. You can dox my hand now. But yeah, she's almost always like this. Like, as soon as you start petting her, she sticks her tongue out and just starts falling asleep. She's adorable. But she's my road trip cat. I traveled in a bus during COVID. I was a van dweller, and she was the talk of the town because literally she would scream so that everyone would hear her. But we had to put a little sign on our bus saying our bus is fully air conditioned. She's fine in there. And it's so much fun to have a road trip cat that really likes the road. Because everything was like a big rumbly bed for her. She just was constantly in massage mode, so she would fall asleep as soon as the engine turned on. Very, very cute. I will remember those days very fondly. But yeah, there you go. Cat tax has been spent. And you can see here with these uploads really quick. I just want to illustrate the differences in the uploads here. If I zoom in real good on these, and then we use the arrows to go up and down, the change is very subtle. Because of the bit rates of the streams here, you probably cannot tell the differences. But the number one that I notice is that there tends to be one that is the least blurry out of whatever upscales that we did. And in this result, in fact, it's the third one that is the least blurry. So we'll go ahead and use that. Celeste says, my two cats also chase me for food when needed. My latest offering was accepted, thankfully, so they're currently napping on my feet. Oh, that's cute. And thank you for the cat text. No, I'm more than happy to give it. What is it? Yeah, we can see that we have the three different character references for a cute black cat, a big dumb baby white cat, the big dumb baby, which is the white cat, and then we have the scheming troublemaker, the gray cat, and these are based off of real cats. So when I lived in Los Angeles, I had a roommate with a gray cat named Hunter, so that is Thumper. We had a neighbor that had a gorgeous white cat that would vindictively poop on my couch if I closed the door on her. Her name was also Pele. And then Fidget is actually my partner's cat, who sadly isn't with us anymore. But Gidget was that cat, so that one's Fidget. And they're all based on their personalities. So whenever you see them in the Sage comics, that's literally them. Like I try to make sure the personalities match. But if I'm curious to see what you guys do inside of VC Create with this. Let's scroll through and take a look at what you guys have already got going here. So let's see.
Yeah, Pasta has some good contenders.
Okay, sweet. Let's take a look. I'm just gonna kind of
Queen
scroll
Lix is
through.
also.
Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. We can see before we get to the other cats, we're gonna get to the Gom Pasta's combination with the Phantasma mood board, like the actual Phantasma world builder mood board, which is really interesting. I recognize it because very few of them have these repeating characters to them. So the K33K, I will instantly always recognize that as our fantasy world builder one, and it creates like really good 3D spaces. That's what I really like about that mood board, is it really sells the 3D spaces well, and it did a super good job on making the office space that she's in feel really real and occupied. The fourth image kind of makes me uncomfortable, but yeah, they're all great though. And let's take a look at the next image here. We got Snoopy doing some Snoopy stuff with the wait, what's the prompt here? Snoopy going to a Grateful Dead concert and flying through drums in space. Look at the top right one. It almost looks like Fran's comics with the kind of Charlie Brown aesthetic that the Snoopy is introducing in here. That's super cool. The abduction looks amazing, actually. That's really cool. I'm going to upscale that. Okay, all right. So we now have multiple comic panels of the wizard encounter, and you can see this is who made this one. Senior Carlos made this one, and you can see by introducing fantasy prompts, you essentially are making a Franco-Belgian anime-inspired image. And second serving of noodles says I'm doing really important stuff, like giving me pink nails. I appreciate that. I'll show that on stream here in a minute. But you could see that the magic elements reintroduced because of the prompt, but the actual character designs still echo some of Sage. Not nearly as much because the fantasy element introduces beards and all sorts of other things. But we are still seeing some of the characteristic stuff that's included in the comics, particularly big wide eyes, that kind of thing. And now let's see what else we got. We got more from Gom Pasta here with the World Builder prompt. Very cool to see the multiple comic panels showing through on both of these bottom results here. Actually, no, on all the results they have good. So like if you were to select one of these, then you can go to you can just select one and then scale it out if you really like it, right? So like for this one, for example, I'll get to the rest of the one, everything you guys are working. There's so many to get to. I have to skip through these really quick. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh my god. Let me. Why? Okay, there we go. I just want to show you guys this really quick though. You could just hit zoom out. As soon as you have a comic panel and you're seeing those sorts of results in the prompts, as long as you don't have a character reference in it and you're relying on the mood boards, it is really easy to just scale out to create the rest of the comic.
We'd even edit the tail.
Yeah, look at the tail. Look at the tail. Ooh. And she's like leaning back in the chair on this one. Like, this is really cool. Lots of potential by using zooms with mood boards. Lots and lots of potential. And let's see here. Very cool. So yes, it's in terms of directing this though. That's what remix mode is all about. So like right now we zoomed out just with the zoom button, but if we did custom zoom, we are actually able to remix this prompt. So if we want to say there's a specific instruction that happens with these other panels that surround this image, like let's take a look at this and say, okay, like she's kind of holding her glasses and looking up. Maybe there is like a bird that hit the window or something like that, right? So we could do custom zoom. Let's leave it at 2. We could change it to something else, like a different aspect ratio, but I think this is fine for now. I'm going to say multiple panel comic of a cat girl noticing a bird that hit the window of a high-rise of her high-rise corporate office window. Okay, yes, I'm a little redundant with the window there. She hit the window of her high-rise corporate office window. It's okay to not be too perfect when it comes to the literary stuff in there. The reason I'm being redundant with that is just because I really want to emphasize that the bird hits this window and that there is a specific kind of window. So let's just go with that. And then I'll hit submit with this. And because we started mentioning things without necessarily providing any images of those, we are able to more easily say, all right, interpret what a bird is in this style, as opposed to here is a bird, now remake it. Let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. She's now surrounded by high rises. Yes, and we have the bird here. Now, it's not being hit where she's looking. Eye line is something that will definitely be something you have to consider. But if we look at these results and we pick the one that has the closest, you could just in-paint the bird and then call it a day with that. But this is great. Like, look at the angles of her high-rise view up here. It's an impossible room in some respects, but you just find the results that make you happy. And the thing is that I really want to emphasize this here. I am not going to re-roll as much as I nearly need to in order to find the images that are really best to start with when in painting and stuff in terms of doing this stream, just because I like to keep things moving and going here. When I'm doing this stuff personally, especially when it's like late at night and I'm just wanting to make comics, I will re-roll prompts constantly. I'm just seeing how deep I can go. Okay, all right, we've done that. We've explained zooming with the mood boards. Now I want to see your all's cats. I want to see everything here. We did do a pet stream a little while ago where we had a whole bunch of people submit their cats and pets and dogs and any other pet. In fact, it's Jack, right? Rhapsody, your iguana.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he's Jack.
I love Jack showing up on there because he's just this big dragon and all sorts of other.
Wait, he's Jack? Where's Jack?
No. And when we did the animal stream.
Oh yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was so much fun to see your all's pets in all sorts of different scenarios.
Yeah, and in that image, I actually added the animal mood board, the alien animal.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
just combined it with your comic one, and it works really great. Like I love the outcomes of that.
The alien mood board is really interesting because it is it's based off of prompts where we negative weighted out living actual like real animal features. So basically, we started off with like maybe like a jellyfish, and then we said we put a negative prompt for tentacles, and it's like, okay, all right, that now imagine a jellyfish without these features, and then we just started negative prompting our way into finding these impossible or otherwise otherworldly creatures, and then we made a mood board with only those results. And just to show you guys what that looks like, because I'm sure one or two people are curious about that. I will show that.
I'll give you the link to the mood board.
Yeah, feel free. Here's the alien world builder. Oh no, that's not it. Back. Let's see. It is. Let's see. Where is it?
Here's the link.
Oh, thank you. Yes, much easier to just go off of that link. Awesome. And yeah, and you could see here's the alien builder mood board. You could tell that the animals it's making are derivatives of real life animals, but they are impossible. Like they are things that that just do not exist on our Earth, and it is really cool to see the results of this mood board if you are trying to do something otherworldly. This was during our sci-fi month that we were doing this, so definitely use this if you want to kind of break out of the normalcy of earthly creatures and people and all that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. Let's dig into what you guys have been doing here. I see here from Snoopy they were making a candy store comic here, and you could see the generic kind of influences of these characters here. Lets you really just get a starting point. You don't even need a character design to start with. You can just run off of other characters in the world of my comic series in order to basically make like fan sub stories. The world is very alive if you guys are doing that, right? Like if there's a couple of you all making comics about, say, like the guy on the top left here, this blonde character here, they could end up running into Sage and Michael in a future comic because you guys are contributing to our series. So it's just really cool to collaborate in this way. And I have done it already. There's 2 comics coming out eventually that feature your all's characters. Particularly Second Serving of Noodles Momo will be the next one. But I need to get through this next comic release before we get into that. Let's see here. All right, so we got a combination with another mood board that's obviously introducing a lot of like kind of at least more mixed media realism as well. Later, noob lady, it's good to see you. Okay, let's see here. And then we have a couple mythical creature prompts, let's see. I want to get to the cats. Let's do that. There's so many fun ones from Gompasta Ooh, what are you doing here? Rhapsody, what are you doing here? Where's Waldo?
Yeah. That was an exciting experiment I did in the middle.
Ooh. Do you want to explain this one for a minute?
Yeah, so the idea in the beginning was I wanted to do some Easter egg hunting for you guys in a fantasy city, and maybe let's put some potions everywhere and have people find potions in like the style of Image. And then I noticed as I was adding like our Phantasma mood boards to V7 that it kind of moved in the direction of Phantasma. So I kept adding things into srefs, and it got really, really close, as you can see here. It's just wider and open with lots of like cityscape and stuff. So if you look into this prompt, there's a lot of stuff in there from the mood boards. So there's 3 profiles. One is the Sage one. Then there is the Phantasma one, and the third one is, I think, my personal world building one.
Yeah, it seems like there's 5 profiles in this one.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, one is my personal profile because that adds a certain anime type of thing to V7. And what was the last one? The 6ET. What's the 6ET? Let me have a look. I go back there. Oh, did I add the alien creature? Yeah, the last one is the alien creature one.
That's an odd one. It might work without it too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think that one was an accident. I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, sometimes if you keep adding things, eventually you're going to like reach a certain level of convolution where certain things don't matter anymore. You know,
Yeah.
especially when you start stacking mood boards like this, it'll definitely kind of like pick and choose between them at a certain point. Um,
Yep.
no, thank you so much for joining, Mojam. More than happy to do it. I hope to see you next week. These are always super fun to dig into, especially whenever we got new tools to play with, like we do today. So
Yep.
let's see here really quick. I want to open this up. Okay, cool.
So
Go ahead.
before I forget it, what I have learned in the last week is that even though mood boards in version 7 don't work very well right now, and srefs also kind of don't work, the combination of both, like having a mood board and then reinforcing that style with the sref with images from that mood board, is a good trick to restore some of it in V7.
For sure, yeah. You can basically constrain it way better by combining the two. Even just relying on an sref by itself will help a lot. But it is one of those things where I wouldn't recommend building a complete workflow or anything like that with version 7 right now. It's
Yeah, not
it's
yet.
it's poke and prod it. You know what I mean? Have fun with it, that kind of thing. But it's meant for coherency, and it's still definitely in development. So yeah, definitely. If you want something that's a little more like proven, right? Definitely dig into our prompt guides that we have on the Gnarly Studios server. Let's see. There's a lot of really fun imagery here from Queen Lux here. Multiple comic panels. A local librarian moonlights as a surrealist warlock. Ooh. The third result is probably the most accurate to that, for sure. Let's see here. That's awesome. Now, oh, little kissies. I will say that you guys ship my characters a lot. Like, there's a lot of relationship stuff that kind of gets put in. It's one of the reasons that I made a comic where I was like, Michael's gay, guys. Like, it's very common for Midjourney to ship characters if they are prompted together. Basically, if they sit side by side, there's a good chance they start kissing. That kind of thing. So in order to create like constraints, like narrative constraints, I incorporated a lot of like kind of development of the character's designs through story, as opposed to necessarily in like Michael. He has a bibrow. It's a little cut in his eyebrow that was pretty popular in the '90s to do. And that is something that is one of my little signatures that I add to characters that Midjourney has a lot of trouble recreating. So if you ever prompt with Michael, you're going to notice that he does not have his signature bibrow. Version 7 is able to at least replicate a little more when I ask for it, but it is I see it, I ship it. There you go. Yes, exactly. That is Midjourney's mindset. This is right here. Is I see it, I ship it. That is certainly. Okay, she's screaming again. So let me just grab her really quick. Sorry, guys.
She needs treats now. Oh yeah, she does. It's in the logo? What's in the logo?
What? How gay Midjourney is? Yeah, no, I love
No,
the thing is.
The Midjourney ship is what he's talking about.
Oh, the ship. Yeah. I will say that I appreciate so much how welcoming and accepting this community is, of all kinds of people, and it's harder to find than you would think, when it comes to online support, for this stuff. So I've always been so appreciative of everything from queer to trans. I mean, as a queer guy myself, like I come on, I really do need to recognize just how much I appreciate the community here, and the community that we've built in Gnarly Studios too. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's. It's a big old queer party here. Absolutely. um. Yeah, and a good chunk of my friends are trans and all that sort of stuff too. So it's just important to be able to represent and feel welcome here, and that's awesome. Look at all that. Look at all that praise. Um. So I want to see some cats though. So let's scroll on through here. I've seen plenty of fun world building stuff from Rhapsody. Oh my god. I want to get to the cats, but I can't get over how good the marketplace looks.
Yeah, I don't know how this happens. Like every time I want to make something different, and suddenly I end up in world building and just like uh, scenes where people just live and go on with their lives. It's just me.
It's so good though. Like I'm gonna have to show this to a couple people. This is great. In fact, I am going to both re-roll this for myself so that it's in my library, but I also am going to upscale the second one here. I just
Yeah, the
love the
second one
depth.
is the best.
It's so
Yeah.
good, and that's certainly a V7 prompt. You can tell it's a V7 result because of the detailed and complexity and depth, where there isn't kind of almost like a finite depth that there is with the image. It just keeps going, and that coherency is represented.
Yep.
So this is
This
great.
is one of the images that I really want to animate.
Yeah, like a whole crowd scene, like a bunch of people in a
Yep.
marketplace just doing their thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm very curious what like VO2 would do with something like this because it normally makes pretty stiff imageries or stiff videos without prompting for it otherwise. So having that sort of fidelity would be great with something this complex. Um, let's see here. We got Beast Wranglers. We got more cat people. Let's see here. We got Miss Nameless showing back up. Uh, Rhapsody bringing her OC in. Figuring out the server room cables.
Yeah, I need to do more with her. Like I created her for Tumbling Up. Like of course she's based on my like normal design here, but
You
created
wanted a
this
more
random.
slice of life, grounded version of her.
Yeah, I just wanted a character that fits in your comic series.
Yeah. Well, I also say grounded because she doesn't have wings.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Ha.
Yeah, I'm full of dumb jokes. But I'm loving the cable wrangling though. It's like
Yeah.
she's I don't know like there to pull some cables and cause some chaos. I saw a gif of somebody doing that recently where there was like it's probably from a show called like Severance or something. I haven't actually watched it myself, but there's like a lady that pulls a cable on a network or on
Yeah.
a server room. Yeah, it's that's what you're doing here. You're just yanking that
I'm
cord.
gonna I'm just gonna post the second image, like in here. Like I had one before in VC text that you also wanted to have a look at, but like this character is so based on the comic series that she just fits right in there, and she's supposed to
Yeah, it looks so
as
good.
the IT girl.
Just turn it off and on again. If I have to tell somebody. Yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
great. Yeah, no, and it really just like it. You could just throw your characters into my comic series and see what sort of stories you can tell. It's just so cool. I love this. Awesome. Um, hello, IT. Have you tried turning it?
yes,
Yes. I love
yes,
IT
from
crowd.
past exactly this show is the idea behind this character. I want her to be like in the depths of the server room and do weird stuff that doesn't fit into the reality of like tumbling up, but it's the background stuff. Like
Yes, yes.
yeah,
I love the episode where they have whether she says that she has the entire internet in a box or whatever.
yeah.
That is one of the funniest episodes of IT Crowd for sure.
One of the funniest things I have ever seen in a TV show. So good.
Yeah, it would be fun to do a watching party of IT Crowd to get us kind of in the mood for making tumbling up comics because there is just so much I like tech related stuff that I do bring up.
Oh yeah, like my personal working title for this IT focused thing is fumbling around.
Yeah, there you go. Popping late to say hello. Hey, Nicole. Good to see you. And thank you so much for stopping by, Lux. So I hope you have a good day. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other stuff that we see here. I haven't run into the cats yet. Just shows you how much you guys have probably prompted deep into the rabbit hole now. But it's just so cool to see all these characters that you guys are prompting with inside of, like, I could literally drag and drop these into a beelining story and have it be that, like, maybe Sage and Micah are watching television and this is a show that they're watching, or like maybe 6 years in the future, Harry Potter comes out and we can make some jokes about J.K. Rowling. Like things like that. Or I'm all down for set it at the appropriate year and just lean into it. But let's see here. Because if you don't know, my comic series all takes place in 30 years in the past to the day. So I try my best to make sure that my comics are set at least the day, or at least around the day 30 years ago. So, for example, my last comic, More Machine Than Machine, was a reference to the Rob Zombie song More Human Than Human, but it is a Tron spoof, actually. But I chose that song specifically because it came out the same week as the when the comic was set. So let's see here. There we see Rhapsody was introduced into this prompt from Gompasta. I like that. That's fun. Let's see. We haven't even got to cats yet, like the outside of cat girls. Mathematician introduces a cute hingled cats. Okay, I see. That's a version 7 prompt. There was a lot of comic spam. I bet. Yeah, it's very easy to just say, "Hey, here's a comic panel," and hope for the best and see what happens, right? And so I'm not surprised. There's also just kind of like chaos of words and stuff too, because you guys are saying multiple comic panels would row your robust. I don't get this, but okay. I like her chin up here. I like just the cocky sharp chins like that are fun. But let's see here. We also have a couple of V7 comics, which are really interesting. So V7 line art right now is a bit in terms of like the reliability of it from prompt to prompt, or from result to result. But what's really good about V7 is being able to have coherency per panel. So, for example, you kind of like these results here. You could actually describe with version 7 what each panel should include, and it will do a lot better of a job than you would think, because a lot of us are conditioned to kind of the artistic expression of Midjourney having a rather large influence on our work. And if I re-roll this, for example, I say multiple comic panel, Jack Straw from Wichita cut his buddy down, dug him a shallow grave, laid his body down. I imagine that's a song, right? So I'll say Jack Straw from Wichita. Let's just say that this is a multiple comic panel and multi-panel comic, and then say the first panel features Jack Straw from Wichita. And then the second panel features, or depicts, you can also use the word depicts his buddy down. And then the third panel depicts a shallow grave being dug. And the fourth panel depicts a body laid down. Sure. I know I've totally ruined the song lyrics and all that kind of stuff. Shallow gravy. But there is a mood board attached to this, which has the highest chance of actually breaking some of that coherency right now. So I am going to just get rid of it, just to illustrate this really quick. And then we'll come back up to this prompt here. In fact, an easy way for us to do that is we zoom all the way back down so we immediately see which one is coming up here. Okay. and then we can click on the top up here in order to bring us back up to the original prompt. Let's oh no, gravy boats. You guys are already going ham on gravy boats. Okay. So now look at this. Look, there's a body in the 4th panel grave on all 4 results. Wow. Okay, yes. So we get a lot of coherency here. We get a lot of understanding of our intent because guess what? Version 7 is designed for this. It's designed for you to be as descriptive as you need to be in order to make your image. So have fun with that, guys. Like really, really, honestly, like when it comes to, especially when you don't use, like maybe you can use your personal profile, but I'm just very curious what you guys are able to do. For sure, very curious. So plenty of cat girls, but if we want to zoom back up to the prompt that we had earlier, you can click on this upper part of your prompt up here inside of VC Create, and that'll actually zoom you way back to whatever you remixed or did a variation of or whatever. So much better. We are going to just scroll on down and take a look at some of these here. It's a really easy way to just catch back up to where we were. That's a funny looking Snoopy on the bottom right here. It's like a dachshund Snoopy. Plenty of fun comics from you guys, and I'm gonna try to feature these only like briefly just to see what they look like. This top right one, just like I didn't order this, sort of attitude. Yeah, that's fun. And I've definitely featured Gonpasta a lot on this one, so I am going to skip a couple years for now. I'm sorry about that. But, what is this art style, though? From Snoopy, multiple comic Fritz the Cat. I knew it. I was about to say it. But I didn't want to say it because if you know what Fritz the Cat is, it's not something you necessarily want to advertise. It's a show of its time period. Or sorry, it's a movie of its time period. You're not gonna get away from just how raunchy 70s Fritz the Cat is. And I will not go any further than that. Let's see here. I like Fritz the Cat though. It's definitely one of those things where it's like as long as you understand the context of it, the kind of the racial divide that was happening in the country of the United States at the time, and just understand that element, it's an enjoyable thing. But it's raunchy, yeah. Let's see here. I see there's some incorporation of anthropomorphism here. What's with this face? I don't like this. I don't like the sideburny beard. It's so uncomfortable for me. It's like...
This is super uncanny.
It's super uncanny. It reminds me of like you tried to like make Bugs Bunny into like some I don't even know how to describe this without getting raunchy itself. Like I don't know. It's just it makes me uncomfortable.
It feels like the live action Cat in the Hat.
It does. Turned back into the cartoon. That's such a good description. Ah! Sorry, I am really giggly today. My fault, guys. I saw 3 people leave as soon as I start laughing. I'm so sorry.
It's not because you're laughing.
It is.
It's because of that image you're showing.
No, I fully expect that my cackle is ear wrenching to a couple of people. Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna skip by Snoopy's real quick because they keep getting uncomfortable. I feel like they're getting worse. Let's see here. AI chemistry. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
If there is a moment, I have to address this.
Please.
Ancient abused his powers.
Oh my god.
And declared victory. If you look at the daily theme for a second.
Okay.
It is...
Let's see.
Crustacean.
all to torture you, Rhapsody. That's perfect. It's
I take
just
that personally.
I feel like such a giggly little brat today. Thank you for making me laugh. This week was actually kind of a harder week for me. Just a lot of a high anxious anxiety kind of things happening, and I like having a good long laugh today. That's so good. Um, cool. All right, let's move on out to. Oh my God, here's a cat.
Cats are starting.
Yes, the cats are starting. Yes. Okay, perfect.
This is already pretty good.
Yeah, it's
To be
already
honest.
fun. Yeah, and it doesn't even have any of the CRFs of the cats in there yet. But I'm an old cat, meow. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's pretty accurate to describe her as that. This looks like actually the top right here reminds me of a comic series that is currently broadcasting on Reddit or currently being uploaded to Reddit about a character named Rise. And I don't really want to give them a shout out without talking to them first, so I won't say it. But I've been really liking the kind of like just oh, classic cartooning that they do, and it just looks a lot like the main character from it. So that's really interesting. I'll ask permission before I just do a shout out for them. Um, yeah, here we go. We got some cats now, and I will say these are still just relying on the tumbling up mood boards in order to create the comics themselves. We haven't started using CRFs yet of the cats themselves, so we'll see what we get here. Brat Pack. Let's see, and this has a stylization, but no, never mind. Let's see here. Lots of Brat Pack ones. Mobius. This is you tried to introduce the Mobius art style with what is this? Austin Powers? Why? Why? No, the monkey. I don't like the monkey. I don't like the monkey. No. No, I'm gonna move on. I don't like that monkey. Let's see here. Cats. More cat tax. Okay, yes. So we're at the cat tax stage. So it's probably like an hour ago now. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so we're starting to get the cats down. Okay. Sweet. So you could see just how much influence the serif has to the actual cats themselves, because this image, this serif, is of Pele jumping. So you could see that we have this. You could say that he's rolling around on his back or anything like that, but it interprets it as kind of like a leap or a jump, right? And you can see just how strict it's holding that within the character reference, that pose. If we want to get the pose to move farther away from what's in the CREF and more towards what's written in the actual prompt or what's in the mood board, then we will re-roll this and we simply add a parameter called character weight, which we used earlier. And I will lower that to something like 20. And then we should get a lot more influence of just a big white cat. Now, big dumb baby cat screaming, sticky. That's we don't have any description of a white cat, so it'll probably not be as white. But you can see that all of them are screaming, because that's what Gompasta put in the prompt, was loudly screaming. Let's see. Okay, there's so many screaming. But because the CREF is unless the cat features a, let's see here. Yes, okay, yes. See, the image prompt here was added to the front of the prompt, which encourages the screaming face. And then they added a character weight of 40 in order to drop the influence of this image here, which has an open mouth, that is true, but it'll allow for more flexibility of the posing and such. And this is kind of an awkward CRF too, because it's missing an arm, it's sitting on a chair that is missing. Like, there's all sorts of awkwardness about this image, but it's fine because it interprets it as needed. Just give me this gray cat, okay? And especially when we start balancing it with character weights, yeah, it's I think the word weight is the most appropriate because it feels like you're kind of seesawing between two different extremes. And, so if you find a good balance there, you're able to really, really get that flexibility of the character design, but also the coherency or the continuity of your character. Plenty of cute cats, and you can see as soon as you start incorporating different mood boards, you actually throw those cats into the world of your mood boards, especially if the mood boards are of just singular places, locations, that kind of thing. far more likely to just throw your character into that world by using the mood board along with it. Snoopy explains why she must be like that, why she must chase the cat. It must the dog in me. All kind of dogs. Atomic dog, bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. A bunch of mumble and jumble nonsense, but because of the mood boards and because of the influence of Raw as well on top of it, we just get clean scenes. I mean, that's the thing with V6, especially V6.1. You can write a bunch of stuff into there. It'll do its best to kind of give you something, but version 7 is going to be a lot more like, I don't understand what you're doing here, so I'm just going to kind of like give you everything. While with version 6.1, it's more like a selection or a refined, not refined, sorry, more of a best of, if I can describe it that way, a best of your prompt that's used. So let's see here. I love, again, this is where we were zooming out of these. Oh my god, yes, oh my god. Yeah. I like the humanoid cats when you guys are introducing them at bars and stuff like that. Sushi bar, nice. I think I might go get sushi tonight. That actually sounds pretty good. All right, wait, Rhapsody, when did you become a cat?
Mom.
Hold on. I think I could pet the cat. Hold on. Boop. Wait, no, boop. And then boop. And this is harder than you think, guys. Okay, I'm petting the cat. Look at that. That's fun. Okay. All right. I could do that all day, but I'm going.
Successful distraction.
Yes, exactly. I just need to look over my eyes and see what different you guys are up to. Okay, all right. We did the zoom outs of going past this comics there. We have a couple of the alien mood boards. I can tell it's the alien mood, or is it the alien mood?
Wow, I love these.
Yeah, these cat snakes and cat lizards. I'm gonna call him Lemonhead. I feel like he wouldn't like being called Lemonhead, which makes it funnier. There is a meme involving a dog where he's like, he keeps insulting his dog, calling him Hamhead, and he just keeps throwing a piece of ham on his head. I would do the same thing with him, but just slices of lemon. Okay, all right. Let's get back on track here a little bit. Oops, I hit back instead of X. Oof. Let's see, hide servers. Okay, let's see what we got. Ooh. The Phantasma mood board being used to bring in more of that worldly effect. Look at how many pets that are here. Look at that. Look at that. That is too cute. What a cat lady. This is certainly, if Sage was in Phantasma, you would probably find her like this.
Like, and the bottom one could be like an adjacent panel.
Right. And that's what I love about once you hone in this stuff, you can really like use as much as possible with all the stuff that you are generating because it all is coherent at a point. Especially when we start to say, hey, here's a mood board for the world. Here's a mood board for the artistic style or the comic style. Here, so on and so forth. By combining these elements, we're able to, like, with intention, right? We're able to say, all right, now we have a working model for this. Easter egg cat. Oh my. Yeah, and I will say that, like cat suits, bunny suits tend to be parallel to each other, so you tend to find kind of Playboy bunny. Yeah, see, immediately. This is also another reason that I kind of avoided specifically Easter is the amount of Playboy bunny influence that happens. I don't really have a problem with this. You guys can do whatever you want when it comes to that. There are other people that will nuke posts that are risque for that reason, but I will say this about it. It is something that I am also aware that it makes some people uncomfortable when there is a lot of like gratuitous risque. So it is something that just to keep in mind whenever you're kind of building something like this is too cute. I love this. This is so funny to be like, I was invited. I like imagine she was invited to be a bunny girl somewhere, and she just realized that it's a kids party, and it's not being at like a Howard Hughes kind of thing. I think this is too freaking funny. Actually, this is a great starting premise. But also, I will say this too: children in the Tumbling Up comic look so much like the Gravity Falls characters, right? Yeah, I noticed. I see Dipper in all of these kids, and it's too fun for me. But it is something that I recognize too, that people would call me out on that. Like if I were to release a comic with a child that looked like a Gravity Falls character, they would say that I was style referencing Gravity Falls, which I'm not doing. Or I'm referencing or otherwise training off of Gravity Falls. No, not at all. But this image is comedy gold, or at least has the potential to be comedy gold in terms of cleaning up some of the details and stuff. I love this. So I'm actually going... Yeah, go ahead.
Even the text in the right speech bubble looks like she's talking about like bending balloons into animals.
Right. And it's just like... I can see so many dong jokes about bending the balloon and just the right, like, no, not like that, and then switches it around to be a little animal. Yeah, it'd be so funny. It's so damn funny. Dump things forever. Yes, exactly. I love Gravity Falls. It's such a good show. I will say I have used the vomiting gnome before. The gnome inside of the comic series. Like I did a little mock-up comic that I didn't release just because it's not at all good. It's just meant to get me started on certain themes. But I definitely have gnome vomiting rainbow because that is a theme inside of Gravity Falls. Quick comic made from an earlier gen. Ooh, let's take a look. Self-destruct. Oh no. And then I have to zoom out a little bit for this one. And then splort. That's cute. Yes, it is always funny to me, like slime people, slime things. You guys can always have fun with that.
There's a cat comic.
Where's... Oh, there it is. Mom's here, though. House. Yeah, and even when the comics are not done and they're just kind of like the starts of a funny idea, right? I just get so excited because I know that there'll be people here in this group that just like get so enthusiastic about finishing one of these that we would just wake up the next day and someone has completed comics. It's just so neat to collaborate with you guys like this. And this was the upscale that I did of the fantasy one. That's really cool. I'll probably upscale a couple of creatives on this one just to see what it does. Oftentimes with version 7, I tend to be a little more happy with the upscale creatives versus version 6. Very, very cool. Lots of cool stuff to see in there. Very, very neat. More crowd shots. Awesome. And is this all because it's all because of the world builder prompt. The world builder prompt is so good at getting crowds of like reasonable size too. Like, wow. I really got to incorporate that one more. That is impressive. I am learning something today. I mean, Sage got pregnant at Woodstock with Sage. Oh, sorry, of Destiny. Sage's mother got pregnant with Sage. Got pregnant at Woodstock, and so it would be really fun to make a Woodstock episode where everything is set in 1969, and everything has to be accurate, as in the clothing all needs to be of the time period. And the bottom right one leans us a little bit there, but we need the mud pits. We need the loud music. Everything needs to be represented. And I think that would be really fun to kind of explore Woodstock in the Tumbling Up comics. But I wanted it to. It's not exactly the most positive story, just because Sage is a young mother. Destiny is a young mother. who had Sage at a very young age, and it's just it's a struggle for her when she's very young, and it's partly why they have a rift with each other. And I'll be getting into that with the next comics. I really want to dig into Destiny's past. And there's Agent says this, and there's an inconspicuous yellow bird that just happens to be hiding in the background. I would have to look at these again. Okay. Ooh, look at these cats. These happy cats just hanging out in
Yeah.
oh my god, that's too cute. Florentia, right? Tanner's character, as the as the cat on the top left. That's what I see.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm pretty much caught up here. It's just you guys are making cat girls make out. Let me see. Yes, this is the one where I was like, okay, no, I want to expand this a little bit. Let's make it square. Look, she has butlers. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with the third one just to up-res something. And then we got a couple fun things. Remember, reality is an illusion. The internet buy gold. Seriously, one of the best villains. Just because the fact that Disney allowed for like this character particularly to exist is just no.
Yeah.
Like the fact that yes, I love this character so much.
He's so iconic.
He is, and I mean, he's on every dollar. You know, like every American that has grown up like in America knows the Eye of I'm blanking on the name of it now, but yeah, the Eye of Providence. That's it. Ooh, we already got the Woodstock. Look at that. Okay. So if you wanted this to be like to have Destiny in there, very, very easy to do. I'll do a little quick demo of that. And then we will do announcements for the show after the show. And if there's anything else Rhapsody wants to show off, you're welcome to after that. Otherwise, I don't have too much else out to that. So let's get Destiny in there first. And then we'll get into all that. So let's see here. First thing I need to do is we need to go to the character portal. And I need to fix my arm because my arm is all bent up here. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So this one is already super, super close, by the way. Like, you've already captured so many elements of Destiny because of the mood board influences. Like, she is also very persistent in the mood board. So you do have characters that already give you the puppet or the standard shape for her. The problem with this image is the background is a bit lost. Like, you would need to find the good version of this background, in my opinion, first before you really dig into it. And it doesn't really make sense with the guitarist being in the middle of the field and stuff like that. I heavily recommend looking up actual images of Woodstock before committing to any of these images, and then going from there. But for the sake of time, I'm going to just grab Destiny and throw her into, we'll first do one where we just throw her into the prompt and just see how she works as a CRF, and then we'll do another one where we in-paint her. And we'll probably use the new editor to do that too. All right, so to do that, we are going to, let's see here. Just a second, guys. All right, cool. So we will first go to our character portal inside the Gnarly Studios server. And let me hide the servers here. There we go. And we will just search for Destiny. Right up here. Clear. Destiny. And she'll come right up. Here's Destiny. And her character reference is a bit old now, but it works really, really well. It's just one of those really proven character sheets that hasn't given me any problems. It may not exactly look like her as a character sheet, but as soon as we input her into NG6, it's super consistently her. So I will go ahead and copy image address for her here. And we'll first try just to throw her in as a character reference. So let's do cref --cref and then paste the link for Destiny into there. And like I recommended, put a character weight of 80 or something that's not at 100, just so you allow a little bit of influence of whatever art styles are inside your profiles. Particularly this time, it is the World Builder profile and the Tumbling Up profile too. So she might look a little different because of the World Builder profile. We'll see what that does. We'll first do that, and then we'll also do one where we input. Now there's cat girls at Woodstock. Of course, there's cat girls at Woodstock. Let's see. Okay, all right. Cool. All right, so you can see here the power of CRF just immediately off the bat when we have a character sheet where there's a couple different poses, couple different examples of her in it. I love the face that she's making on the bottom left image here. This like where she's kind of holding this tube thing. I love that little curious like, whoa, what is that? But you immediately see the problems of using character referencing this early in the workflow, because every character is now Destiny. If you want a C of Destiny, you could do that with this, but I would heavily recommend in-painting her into a generic puppet of her. And she wouldn't be wearing the same outfit she would be wearing 30 years later, 20 years later. So you probably want to make a younger version of Destiny also to incorporate for this. But we're just gonna overlook that part. Let's go ahead and grab the image of her, or of this kind of puppet that is right. This fits for Destiny here. So I could either do this inside of Discord and use the old tools of the very region group select, box select or lasso select kind of thing, but I really want to use the new editor for this. So let's bring it into our Midjourney account. We'll use either make square or custom zoom in order to do it. If you do not want to change the image at all, then we will use custom zoom, and we will set the zoom to 1.01. That will send it to our account here. And if I now hop over to the tablet, and just a second, tablet, okay. You can see that it's rendering our 0.101 zoom out. My dog just sneezed. Hi, buddy. Okay. All right. Let's see, 55%, just any second now. And then we'll be able to in-paint Destiny into the image as opposed to relying on her as part of the initial prompt, mostly to avoid this. Just so many Destinies in the room. Okay, so now we have our, like you can see just how little has changed because we only zoomed out by 0.01. So very small amount has been zoomed out. We don't really need to worry about which one we pick, but we do need to start selecting the stuff that doesn't match Destiny's art design. And a lot of this stuff already does in this regard, but I want to be able to instantly recognize that it's Destiny. Okay, so I am going to first paste her image into the top bar here, and I'll drag it over to character referencing. And then I am going to start selecting just definitely not the whole character. I really only want to do the things that look a little bit off, that otherwise are maybe not her, just to start. But at least for this, I think all this works. Like, her wristband works here. Like, I really don't need to remove these things. It's just her face that I really want to say, oh yeah, that's clearly Destiny. So let's go ahead and just submit this with the character referencing and a character weight of 80. Okay. And as soon as we in-paint Destiny into here, we'll then be able to expand off of this panel and show you guys what that looks like, just like we did with the bird hitting the window prompt earlier. Let's see here. Okay. Look at that. So much like her already. Look at that. This is perfect. This is perfect. She's just so excited to be here with all these other people and, live her best life kind of thing. And then finds out she's pregnant a couple weeks later. So it's one of those things where I'm really excited to kind of talk about Sage's past in that way when she was a little kid, because it really, I wanted to establish why there is a frustration or rift with her. I purposely left it a bit blank for people so they were just like, why does she does she have mommy issues? Like, what's going on here? Like, what is the problem here? And talking about what it's like to be with a young mother who doesn't really see herself as a mother. She sees herself as just a big sister, and Sage just really wanted a mother. That's really where I'm going with the story with her. So I'm curious to see how that develops. But look at that. We can already get her into there, and it's as easy as moving this editor around and saying, all right, let's use the selection tool here, and I am going to include this guy here and start selecting a little more extra of him here. Okay. We basically got us a little bit of the guitar that's left up here and a little bit of his beard that's here that I'm also going to select. Okay. And now I'll just say to erase selection because we don't need a guitarist in the middle of the field here. And you can see it just gave us an alpha like a place. So we can even put someone in there and a layer underneath it in order to really composite this image. But I think this is good. I think this is fine. We could just hit submit on this. But I'm also able to say expand up, right? And say that she is, let's do multiple comic panels depicting her looking through the crowd at Woodstock 1969, or just Woodstock 69. And we will hit submit on that. Now, because we're using a character reference and expanding, it'll likely be just a headshot of Destiny. In order to get rid of that, or to lean against that, we could either add chaos to the equation. Right now we have 15 of chaos. If we increase that even more, it'll kind of push us farther and farther away from the character reference. And you can see just how I like this outfit, but it's not the one she's wearing. And you can see just how strict it's being with the character, the C-ref here. So, in order to make this look like an actual multiple comic panels, we just get rid of the character referencing and repeat the process that we've already done, where we are creating generic puppets of our characters and then in painting the continuity of those characters back in, to give us the maximum amount of creative freedom for Midjourney. What happened here? We got probably an AI warning here. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Because the only thing I did was remove the character referencing. There's a good chance that the chaos will also start to introduce some really weird stuff. So we might want to scale that back a bit. But in terms of producing comic panels, that's actually mostly coming from the mood board. So if you see here, all these mood boards have the same sort of worldly effect, but it's no longer Woodstock. It's there's even some fantasy influence with this here. So the number one thing with this is now, whenever you're expanding, especially, you want to think about your intent again. What am I making? I'm making a comic. So you probably want to use mood boards that include comic panels, right? Which means, in this scenario, we get rid of the Phantasmal World Builder prompt because we're not making just one image that is... what happened here? I need to get rid of this mood board. And... okay. I need to come back to this prompt, this window right here. Got it. And we'll just get rid of the... yep, we got rid of it there, and we just hit submit. Let's hope this works. Yep, okay, cool. The idea here, though, guys, is that I'm only relying on mood boards that I actually need. We built the audience, we built the crowd with the previous one, and now I use only the comic prompt, like the Tumbling Up profile here, and look at that. She's in the crowd, and it's just a generic puppet of her, but she's wearing the bracelet. She has the top on. It's a blonde woman. That's amazing. Look at that. She's like noticing maybe somebody in the distance, and they're like waving at her, and she's like, "Ow, hi, it's you." It's so cool. This is all because I know what the mood boards are. I know what they're for. I know what their intentions are, and I use them with purpose. That's the goal. Okay, all right. I just got about like 5 minutes left until the show after the show, which is a stage that you can hop onto, the Gnarly Studio server, to kind of jump on stage and chat with us with Rhapsody and I live. It doesn't happen here on Midjourney. It happens on the Gnarly Studio server. You're welcome to join it on VC Text. So just click on VC Text over here. Just above the stage, you'll see VC Text, and you'll see that Kinky has provided all these links because she's awesome, for you to just hop right into the server and start making stuff with us. That's all I got for today. But Rhapsody, do you have anything that you wanna add or close with today?
Um, well, not much, but if you are a regular on our server right now, or if you just want to join right now, we are working together with the Niji team from time to time, and we got an invitation yesterday to try out a neat little game in Discord. And there is like an announcement and a link to the Niji server on our server. And it's basically a little small game on their Discord where you can create a character, then combine elements like Doodle God, if that game says you something. It was somewhat popular a while ago, like a few years ago. You create new element. You take elements and you put them together to create something new. And the cool thing is, your character that you created, and you can do it with crefs and descriptions because it's Niji 6, will be displayed if you discover something new that no one else has. And we got like the invitation to do a beta test of it. And if you want to join, that is a possibility still. So that is one thing that's going on. Other than that, I don't have much to add today. Come to the show after the show, talk with us, show some amazing stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rhapsody, for joining me on stage. Oh yeah, I know you're eager. Like he wants to poop. But thank you guys so much. I just really appreciate your all's time here today. No, thank you, Enid. Thank you so much for all the people who stick around for these streams. It really makes the difference for us. And thanks again to Rhapsody for joining me on stage here. And thanks again also to Kinky and Agent for making this happen. And yeah, I cannot wait to see what you guys make with more Tumbling Up comic stuff, as well as with the new editor. There's just so much you can do now where you do not have to rely on programs like Photoshop. So, okay, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you over at the Gnarly Studio server.
Bye bye.
Bye.